Welcome, Tresa. Yeah.
Hi, Kavita.
Yeah. Welcome to Career Pathshala. This is a platform that we have created where we want to guide people, especially the parents and the children, about the various career options. And there are a lot of blockages or the hiccups that they are facing today. And we want them to, we want to bring experts like you and help them to, understand exactly what's the right way, or I may say the right approach to, to look at the career and plan a career for their child or help the child in choosing the right career for them. So, and considering you have plenty of experience, and you have been a parental expert, and you have been guiding and helping so many parents all across India and abroad, even across the world, about this entire, how to plan or identify what exactly the children are all about, and what exactly is the career option, what is the right approach. And academics is not the only way to define or to
So,
understand to define the career option. So I thought it would be great to get you on the show and ask you the right questions and help the parents and audience to understand how exactly and what is the best way to go ahead and help the kids in getting the right career option.
sure.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I'll start with Teresa. First of all, what exactly is career guidance and how much importance should one give to parents, in fact, should give to career guidance?
It's a very important question, especially in today's world. Career guidance is very relevant because gone are those traditional days where where we had just limited career options. If somebody is taking science, they just have like BSc, medicine, or engineering. But nowadays we have a lot of career options, which opens up a big plethora for all the children to look at their particular traits and personality and match it. So the challenge is on us also to identify the right career. Now, what is career guidance? Let me explain to you in layman terms and giving a bit of analogy, which I love to give, is if you want your child to reach a particular career destination, which could be a role or anybody, let's say it's like it's you're trying to get them into a big cruise or ship, you know, and you've decided, hey, I want my child to get in this cruise or ship at later part of his life so that he's successful and enjoying all the luxury in the cruise. If you want to do that, you should know where exactly that cruise or ship is right now located. Is it in Indian Ocean or Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea? And at which latitude, longitude? Because then if you have to send your child to move into that cruise, you have to put them in a boat, get them equipped with all the required resources so that they can reach that destination safely. Also, if your cruise is lying in Bay of Bengal and you send the child in a boat from the Arabian Sea, then what will happen? Either they will take a long route to reach that destination later than their colleagues, or they will never reach the destination, they will get lost in that particular ocean. So it's important that as a parent, you should be able to identify what your child wants, where you want him to reach, and then give him and navigate him with the right guidance so that he can reach that destination. That is career guidance. If you don't do that, the child will be completely lost for the next 30-40 years of their life.
राइट सो प्लीज एक बात बताइए, आप बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स से रोज मरवा पे बात करती रहती हैं, तो वे एग्जैक्टली उनका वेयर डज द चैलेंज लाइज, अगर मैं पूछूं?
मैंने काफी बार देखा है जो पेरेंट्स आते हैं मेरे साथ, है ना, टीन पेरेंटिंग कोचिंग के लिए। फर्स्ट दे स्टार्ट विद बिहेवियर रिलेशंस, घूम फिर के टॉपिक करियर पे आ जाता है। और करियर पे आने के बाद मैं देखती हूँ, आउट ऑफ 5 केसेस एवरी 3 पेरेंट दे आर कंफ्यूज, दे डोंट नो हाउ टू गाइड द चाइल्ड ऑन अ करियर एंड दे आर रिलाइंग ऑन करियर काउंसलर्स जस्ट टू से दैट व्हाट विल हैपन। बट ऑनेस्टली जस्ट लेट मी आस्क यू दिस क्वेश्चन, 1 घंटे 2 घंटे का करियर काउंसलर से एक थर्ड पार्टी आपके बच्चे को कितना समझ सकता है, कितना गाइड कर सकता है एक ऐसी चीज जो उनके अगले 30 इयर्स की लाइफ को इम्पैक्ट करने? डोंट यू थिंक इट्स अ बिट रिस्की? इसीलिए मैं हमेशा चाहती हूँ कि पेरेंट्स खुद इक्विप रहे विद द राइट स्किल्स so that they can also help their child in the career selection.
ग्रेट ग्रेट ग्रेट। सो तो इसके मुताबिक जो इंडिया में इतने सारे करियर काउंसलिंग ऑप्शंस लोग जाते हैं, आई थिंक उसके बहुत पहले से ही लोगों को शुरू कर देना चाहिए समझना कि ये 2 घंटे में आपके बच्चे का करियर को ही नहीं समझ सकता है या गाइड कर सकता है, पहचान सकता है कि वो किसमें होशियार है।
And that highlights one important element again, Kavita, your question is that it's not just knowing your child, but I think knowing in the right time. काफी बार पेरेंट्स बहुत ही रिलैक्स रहते हैं, जैसे बच्चा 12th में आता है और डिसाइड करना है कि हमें कौन सा ग्रेजुएशन लेना है या कौन सा प्रोफेशनल डिग्री में, तब वो बैठ के सोचने लगा भी करना क्या है करना है क्या है। और वो लास्ट मिनट में हश एंड रश में आप एक गलत डिसीजन लेने के काफी चांसेस है। या फिर कोई पेरेंट्स 10th के टाइम बैठ के सोचते कि 10th के बाद अभी क्या करना है। बट मैं सजेस्ट करूंगी द राइट टाइम इज व्हेन द चाइल्ड इज इन 7th and 8th, you start observing the child, you start looking at certain parameters of the child, so that you can guide them and test the waters. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, there are certain schools who also have a flexibility in changing their subject in ninth and 10th grade. So you have flexibility to drop, let's say, one of the regional language and pick up, let's say, like Marathi can be dropped and picked up. You can pick up technical drawing, or you can drop science and pick up a commercial application or economics. Now, this is giving a lot of flexibility so the
Right.
children don't get stressed and burdened unnecessarily on those topics and subjects that they're not going to make their career in, right? So, agar 7th or 8th, parents have some amount of clarity that will help them to reduce the stress and burden of their child and also make them more interesting. I would like to share my personal example. Like my daughter, when she was in 7th and 8th itself, we had done certain things by which we could find out that my child may not go into science for sure. She's not going to make a career in science because
Mhm.
her personality, her aptitude, and plus the way things were moving out, I knew she'll never pick up science. And she herself also felt the same. When we realized she's not going to pick up science, and I could see her struggling in 8th standard with chemistry and physics subjects, because every child is different. I
Right.
realized then why should I pressure her in picking up chemistry and physics for ninth and 10th standard, because 10th is very important and she wanted to score the best. So if I help her with certain subjects which she can easily assimilate or something which is of interest, don't you think it'll make a change? So we did the same thing. In ninth standard, we actually opted out of science. So now she doesn't have physics, chemistry, and bio. Instead of that, she's picked up home science, she's picked up commercial applications, economics. Now these subjects are of her interest. So do you think I
Right.
have to push her? No, absolutely no. She will start studying it on her own, taking initiative and interest to do well in that academics. So this is something which every parent should understand and
Right.
guide. Just don't follow the trend because everybody's taking science and maths. You should also do that. No, understand your child and help them.
Agreed. So, my next question now is, what happens if, if we choose a wrong career? What exactly will be the repercussions, if I may say? क्या होगा, क्या फर्क होगा? क्योंकि end of the day, आज के ज़माने में, from generations we have been watching कि job तो हो गया, we are settled in the career. तो अभी क्या है? पैसे तो मिल रहे हैं, we are settled, घर हो गया, all the rest of the things we already made the type, the checklist. So अभी, what is the? I'll literally ask you, what exactly are the repercussions?
There are very, very serious repercussions, let me tell you that. Gone are those days when we used to not be conscious about it, but today's generation is, especially the millennial generation is. So, what happened, I will say the generation which we are today, Kavita, when we were put into a career, using the basic knowledge and limitations our parents and we had, we went into a career. And then what happened? We started getting the monthly paycheck. Once you start getting the monthly amount, you start happiness. Okay, you're like all settled, yaar, koi problem nahi. Then once you get a little settled in 1 year, the first thing is you'll go and buy a house, you'll buy a car, you take liabilities. Now, when you take liabilities, you're stuck. Then you can't quit the job or you can't experiment yourself. So you are bound to work in that particular job if you like it or not like it for the next 10, 15 years because you have to finish your loans, your EMIs, your liabilities, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? If in case you're in the wrong career, you land up forcibly working for next 15 to 20 years of your life into something which you are not enjoying. So what happens then? Obviously, if you're not enjoying the job, you will start showing poor job performance. And when you start showing poor job performance, you will start seeing that your career is getting stagnated. You will not enjoy moving up the ladder very fast as your other colleagues are moving. Obviously, because of that, your financial stability will start shaking because your promotions may not happen. You may not get more higher pay or increase. So then this will start eating up you. You will mentally also get disturbed because one, your financial growth is not happening as you had anticipated. And second, you're also not finding a satisfaction. You're not enjoying the job. You're just doing a monotonous from 9 to 8 and just finishing off.
Right.
And then when you get up in the morning on Mondays, you'll start getting Monday blues. Oh, I really don't want to go to office. But you should push yourself thinking about the monthly paycheck you're going to get and the EMI loans you're burdened under. But this causes your mental health issues. You get stress, you get depression. And what does everybody term it as? Oh, job करेगा तो stress तो आएगा. But ये गलत है. It is not the job which is causing the stress. आप गलत job पे हो करके आपको stress हो रहा है. क्योंकि आप जो जॉब वो कर रहे हो जो आपको बहुत पसंद है, आप घंटों उसमें 24 घंटे भी लगाओगे, आपको स्ट्रेस फील नहीं होगा. आप एंजॉय करोगे इस जॉब को. लेकिन जो जॉब कर रहे हैं आप उसको पसंद नहीं करते, तो फिर तो वो स्ट्रेस ही लेना और फिर आप डिप्रेशन में जाओगे. और वो स्ट्रेस और डिप्रेशन आप घर पे लाओगे, फैमिली इंपैक्ट होगा, बच्चे इंपैक्ट होंगे. धीरे धीरे मेंटल चीज आपको फिजिकल हेल्थ इंपैक्ट होगा. आपको स्ट्रेस की वजह से ओबेसिटी होगा, कोलेस्ट्रॉल होगा, डायबिटीज होगा. तो
Right.
ओवरऑल लाइफस्टाइल पूरा इंपैक्ट हो रहा है. and also your personal and relationship starts straining. You'll start showing the frustration in a different form to your wife and your children, your parents, because you can't, you're caged. You have taken up loan, you have liabilities, you can't quit the job, but at the same time, you don't like this job. So you don't know what to do. And these are all the frustration they face throughout the life. And by the time you reach 45, 50, either somebody has a daring that they will move out to take that bold step. If they don't have the financial stability, they will not have the daring and they'll retire in that job and cursing themselves, what did I do? I did not enjoy my life. Is that the life you want to give for your child? Ask yourself.
My God, that's really a very very valid point. जिसको हम settlement कहते हैं कि the kids are settled, घर हो गया, and अभी घर भी हो गया, family भी हो गई, दो बच्चे भी हो गए. That's how the definition of settlement is. But
Correct.
it's completely a very misnomer. It is not the right thing. because people have to look behind that. That's very interesting, Tresa. So now comes the next question. It's a very relevant question for you. So who should choose the career for the child? Is it
Hmm.
the parent or the
Yeah.
child himself or herself?
So in the olden days, it was always generally the parents because they knew they had the best wisdom to do. But in today's world, I would say the trend has changed because there is so much career options, so many variety. I bet no parent knows everything today to guide their child. So that is something which is a challenge. Also, I think if a parent just goes on his whims and fancies, oh, we have a doctor in our family, every family, so we should have you also as a doctor. और
Hmm.
हमारे ट्रेंड में तो सारे लड़के इंजीनियर बनते हैं आपको भी इंजीनियर बनना है इफ दे स्टार्ट पुटिंग दोस पर्टिकुलर वैल्यूज ऑन द चाइल्ड then you are not actually trying to map to the right career. Maybe your child is not meant to be a doctor or engineer. Second, so parents, if they do it, I think that might be a wrong choice. Now, what happens to children? Today's children are very, very exposed to a lot of variety of knowledge to the digital media. So they can see a lot of career options, which is a good thing. So they are aware of it. But do you think they have the wisdom and maturity? Because at the age when they have to take a career decision is between 15 to 17. And that is a time when they're teenagers. Their brain is not grown mature to take a decision like this, which can impact them for next 30, 40 years. तो इतना important decision हम ना बच्चों के हाथ में अकेले छोड़ सकते हैं ना पेरेंट्स के हाथ में अकेले छोड़ सकते हैं करना क्या चाहिए पेरेंट और बच्चे को साथ में बैठकर मिलकर बात करनी चाहिए पेरेंट को बच्चे का एक्सपेक्टेशन समझ में आना चाहिए कि उसे क्या पसंद है क्या नहीं पसंद है क्या इंटरेस्ट है क्या पर्सनैलिटी है और बच्चा हैज टू टेक गाइडेंस फ्रॉम पेरेंट्स टू अंडरस्टैंड मम्मा ये टाइप के करियर है ये टाइप के जॉब में कितना स्टेबिलिटी कितना सिक्योरिटी विल इट हेल्प मी और नॉट सो दोनों को मिलके करना है एंड देन ओनली दे विल बी एबल टू गो फर्दर इन द राइट वे एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू I said career option. There are so many career options. Is it's
Right.
good to also consult a career counselor who can guide you. These are the options available so that they are aware to pick up the right choice. तो ये एक triangle होना चाहिए parent,
Mhm.
child, and the career counselor in order to make sure that the right decisions are.
So it's a very different approach. And
Yeah.
the parent and the child has to sit together and has to discuss. क्योंकि I don't remember, मुझे नहीं लगता कि आज parents are so they're so influenced by the society and the kids also, as you rightly said, that yeah, it's difficult. ठीक है. तो जैसा फिर एक बात बताइए आप कि how they should do it. Like this, you told that they should sit together, but how feasible or easy it is when when you can have your own parents visiting you, like parents coming and talking to you, or how feasible or easy it is for them. When you suggest them you should sit together and do a session like this. So does it really work? To be very honest, or you have to intervene
Yeah.
at the end?
Yeah, I think definitely it's a little tricky. And sometimes I ask them to take help from the coaches because they can guide them also how to go about. Certain parents are matured enough to have the discussion. Sometimes they need guidance. But what I would suggest is it is important that you understand the three primary elements before you start the discussion. One is what is career destination, what is career path, what is career milestone. See, career destination is what is a role or a type of job position which your child would love to do. And this you have to map very clearly based on the child's characteristics, his personal traits, his personality, his interest. Because if you're trying to give a job or role to a child, you have to make sure he or she will enjoy that. For example, if the child is saying that, I would not like to have a job where I have to sit, I would want to roam around and meet people, then probably a sedentary job, like,
Mhm.
a chartered auditor or somebody like that may not help them. They would want a job which is more socializing. You may have to find some job roles which is suiting their personality and likes and dislikes. If somebody loves to explain things, likes to talk just like me, then probably an education field is very good for them. So it is important that you understand the personality and interest of the child and then map it to the job role. That is the career destination. Once you know these are the couple of destinations, maybe three, four options of destinations which you have chosen, then you look at the what is the career path. For example, if you have to be into education field, then you can pick up science, commerce, or arts and become any teacher. But if you have to become a chartered auditor, a CA, you have to learn commerce. You can't take science and become a CA, right? So your career path is decided after you identify the career destination. So career path is nothing but picking up the stream, whether you should go for commerce, whether you should go for arts or science in the basic thing. Then last comes the career milestones. Now it is important that which are the milestones relevant to be taken on time to reach that destination. If a child has to become a CA, then you have to ensure that the child, after he finishes 12, you get him into the CA foundation course along with BCom so this time is not missed. Otherwise, if you're not aware of this milestone, you will sit on it, finish BCom, and then say, oh, now let's start CA. And by the time your child will lose another 2 years compared to his friends. So it is important you understand the career destination, the career path, and the different milestones. So probably once you have identified the career destination with your child, then you can meet a career counselor and say, hey, you know what? We were thinking of this options. Can you guide us? What are the different varieties or any other job roles parallel or similar to this? And what are the career streams we should tell and how can we help the child in achieving the milestones? Because if the child has to do, let's say, engineering, then it is important that that child has to undergo some amount of training to prepare for the JEE. If he realizes in 12th standard that I want to do engineering, it might be late. And even if he prepares in 1 or 2 months, nothing is stopping him from giving JEE exam. But हो सकता है वो दूसरे बच्चों की उतना स्कोर नहीं कर पाएगा. So he lost an important engineering college just because his parents were not able to guide him at the right. है ना? So don't miss all these things. So these three elements, career destination, career milestone, and career path is important. But as I said, sit with your children to understand what are the job roles, what are the things which will fit into his particular interest and personality.
And when is the right time to start such discussions with the child?
As I said earlier, the right stage would be in 7th and 8th standard because that is the time when the child has started understanding himself and knowing what are the things he would prefer to do or what he would like to do because he's exposed to a lot of things. So nowadays, 7th and 8th standard children are quite mature to share their interests and likes and dislikes.
Right.
And rest of the things, the parents can also find time to explore various options around it, talk to people in that particular field, so that when they reach 9th standard, they have some clear, subtle idea of which stream they should go in.
Got it. And Teresa, tell me today, being a parent yourself, or a parent myself, we all are so caught up in our own careers and business priorities that we hardly have time, to invest in looking at the. We choose a board, we choose a very good school for the child, and we feel the child is, we settle kind of like is in the right good books or is in a good place. And but tell me something like. As a parent, how much they should focus on in terms of hours. I may not say hours, but if what the focus should be is that okay, this many discussion they should have, these many platforms they should visit, because end of the day you are influenced by the people around you. So as a parent also, you see like in office, the 10 people are there, and most of them, the kids are going to engineering or some other career option. They're going abroad, which is very easy nowadays, even for doing the undergrad. So we just get influenced and we feel like, okay, yeah, that's what my child should also be doing with. So in these way, I want to say how much parent need to be, the orientation has to be that how much time they need to focus also to understand that the child, that, this kind of, we need to sit together and, discuss. Like as you said for your daughter. So for sure that you identified her, that, okay, now that's not what she wants to do. She cannot be into science. She has some other likings. So when, how much time do you give? Did you give to do this?
So I would say that it varies from child to child because there are some children who have a very good leadership and dominant personality and they are able to identify and make choices for themselves, and also they are quite open in speaking it out to their parents. So they will open come and say, you know what, this is what I like and this is what. And in my case, I was fortunate that my child was that category. She was very open and saying, Mama, I would never like to do chemistry, never like to study this because it's not something which I connect with. And I could sense that, oh, this is not something she will like. That means definitely this is out of the window. Now let me understand what is it that she likes. So I wouldn't say you have to every day take a hour and sit with them, but
Right.
keep observing them, and especially observe them when they're interacting with others, when they're friends, with when you go out in a picnic or excursion. Observe how they're behaving, how they are. Try to understand their personality. Now, there are some easier techniques also which is available in the market, which I leveraged on also. There is something called as dermatoglyphs study, which is your finger pattern study by which you can understand the child's personality, their learning style, their
Mhm.
interests, and what is their true potential. So that was also a guidance factor for me, which helped me a lot to understand my children. And that's why I could guide her a little more better. But your observation is also required as a parent. Combining both of that will help. And then afterwards, once you know that this is are the options available, help them to interact with certain people. So, for example, if my daughter, the eldest one, she was saying, I want to be a lawyer. So I made sure that she interacted with a lawyer friend of mine to understand was a day-to-day routine of a lawyer. When they hear that, they will decide, oh, should I spend like this for the next 30 years of my life? Will I be happy or content? That's a question they can ask, and they will be able also to give their inputs. So facilitate the environment around them for them to take decisions. Don't sit like a pen and paper and say, oh, you want to be a lawyer? You want to be a CA? You want to be a teacher? That is not the way. So observe them because they're evolving in seventh and eighth standard. Look at their characteristics, know their habits. What is it they're enjoying? What is it they're not enjoying? Whether they like to come out in the public and speak, whether they like to sit somewhere lonely and make sure analysis is done behind. They like to work backstage or front stage. All these things are small elements you should observe and then try to find a job role which fits into that. That is how a parent should do. So there's no fixed time, but I would say observe your children, especially if you're busy. I used to observe them on Saturdays and Sundays when I had a break from my career job. So Saturdays, Sundays, or when I got on picnics, that's the time when I enjoy and understand them more. Ask questions because many of the times it's important to do an introspection. The child may not introspect themselves, so it's important to ask for them. We went to a party and there was karaoke, and my
Right.
daughter did not go and sing. So I said, Beta, why did you not try and do karaoke? Mama, I don't like to stand in front of all the people. But I said, you sing very beautifully. Yeah, I
Mhm.
sing beautifully, but I somehow don't have the confidence to go and stand there. So
Mhm.
somewhere they are not very comfortable with that. Now you can develop that, but also that means she's shying away from a public role.
Right.
But at the same time, if I give her something to analyze at the
Mhm.
backstage, she will sit and research on the computer and find out things. So she's very good at research work. So
Mhm.
identify what are these, potential or personality traits of her, and
Mhm.
then try to find a job. Don't push her into something because she's uncomfortable. She'll not do well.
That's a very interesting aspect because normally what we feel is like, oh, if the child can't speak in the public, we should put him in the public speaking classes and get that confidence.
So you should put in the public speaking classes so that they can develop, but definitely not give them a career with which will make them
Right.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Try to develop that so that
Mm.
they have that skill developed at some point of time. But if you know they are not very happy and comfortable or they don't want to do it, then don't push a career for 30, 40 years to make them uncomfortable. Help them with public speaking class so that they can at least try to come out of it to a
Right.
certain extent.
Huh.
That is what you should do.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Now, what are the common mistakes, Teresa, that made while making a career choices? So, if you can just elaborate a bit on it, though you have already covered, but I'm sure then much more deeper, understanding that you have on it.
Yeah. So whenever any parent comes to me, what I've seen is there are a lot of mistakes which they do while discussing their career choices of their child. One is most of the parents, including me, I think, we follow the part of trend. We just become a part of a herd on the basis of the trends. We see things happening around and we started following that. For example, there was a trend many years back. You start becoming engineering. Okay. Then now comes a trend. Hey, do AI or data
Mhm.
analytics or
Right.
robotics. So this is the latest trend. Do genetic engineering. Now, just because you hear that trend, don't just blindly follow that and put your child into that. It could be lucrative, but
Mhm.
is your child meant for that particular job or role? Understand that. Okay. Secondly, the trend also sometimes could be foul or fake. Like you could see, hey, there is an industry booming right now of AI, but just do a market research. Is it going to last for next 10, 20, 30 years or just for the next 5 years? If yes, then you're putting into a career where it's going to be risky for their job in future because they have another 30, 35 years of their life where they
Mhm.
should have a secure job. So try to find a field where they will get more security, where it is connected with their particular interest area, and also it is going to give them a lucracy of good amount of salary. So this
Right.
is something which I really always make the parents warn. Don't follow the trend. Second mistake which they do, they always look at the academic performance and define the career of the child. Just because your child is doing very good in maths, that doesn't mean he is going to be a chartered accountant or he'll become an engineer. Does he really enjoy that subject is the question. If he scores 95 in maths, that doesn't mean he enjoys it. He's doing it because he practiced it, he studied it. And knowing our Indian academic style, you know that if a child mugs up or studies or does a little bit of practice here and there, nowadays 90-95% is quite easy to be achieved. So just because he's getting that doesn't mean he is going to love that subject or he would love to do a job for next 30 years in that particular subject. So it's very important to ask the children what is their area of interest, what is the subject they love to do, and also observe them which subject they talk about very passionately so that you can understand what type of career or job roles will fit in for their future. Third is many of the parents nowadays are ignorant of career option, and I wouldn't blame the parents because even I as a parent feel there are so many options coming out in the market nowadays. You just can't figure out. And with the NEP, there's a lot of flexibility also.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're aware, but even a science student can drop maths and take psychology. Okay. Even a commerce student after 12th, he can go and do BSc. This was not open in our days, right? This is something newly come up. So that means there's a lot of flexibility and the children can go into variety of options based on their interests. But the parents are not even aware of it. The parents are not even aware of the various career options we have today. You know,
Right.
so that is why I think this ignorance is also one of the roadblock. And to take a help from a career counselor to get yourself aware or do research in the internet and market to find out what are the options. Like when my daughter took commerce in
Mhm.
the FIJC 11th standard, I had no idea because I was from the science background. I could guide her into IT, everything, but not in commerce. But that doesn't mean I just say, oh, I don't know anything about commerce. You decide what you want.
Mhm.
I started researching for 1 year by talking to people, researching on the internet. And I think today we have so many avenues on digital media to find. And I could see there are a lot of options apart from CA. There is CMA, there's ACCA, there is CPA, there is CFA, CFRM. And all those information when I shared to my child, she was able to look at option and then decide. So
Right.
it is as a role of a parent, it's important that you are aware. If you're not aware, take help, but find about. If you're ignorant of career options, you're closing the door of that with your child. So don't do that. And fourth point is very, very important is infatuation.
Mhm.
Okay. A child could have infatuation towards a career. Maybe he would have seen one of his uncles doing very well by joining the merchant
Mhm.
navy. He's having a big amount of money. Or he will say, oh, I would love to get into merchant navy. I want to be like my uncle, very wealthy and good, rich, and enjoy in the ship. Or they could see somebody like a YouTuber, an influencer who is on the YouTuber saying, hey, you know what? It's easy to make money, guys. Just make videos, 10 videos every day, and see, I brought a BMW.
Right.
And they're like, wow, this is cool, man. I don't have to study. Let me get and make videos. So they'll get influenced like that. So there could be various things that they will get attracted in today's world and
Mhm.
they get infatuated कि यार ये करना तो बहुत आसान है मैं इसी करियर में जाऊं
Right.
अब ये इन्फैक्चुएशन है कि रियल इंटरेस्ट है इसको समझने का काम पेरेंट्स का है बिकॉज अगर वो नहीं समझ पाए तो दे विल लैंड अप इन अ जॉब विच इज रॉन्ग फॉर देम सो दैट इज वन थिंग फिफ्थ वन विच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एज आई केप्ट टेलिंग इज अपने बच्चे को समझो जानो नो योर चाइल्ड what is their personality,
Oh, I
what
see.
are their traits, what are their strengths, what
Mhm.
is their potential. If you don't know that and you're putting them into something, you will not be able to do well. If you put a child who is really good and analyzing and researching but unable to speak and you say oh ये research अच्छा करता है चलो बेटा तुम जाके साइंस की टीचर बन जाओ नहीं कर पाएगा वो फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाएगा उसे उसको एक्सप्लेन करना आता ही नहीं वो
Right.
रिसर्च अच्छा कर सकता राइट सिमिलरली
Mhm.
vice versa also so it is important that you understand why the child wants to be like that and the true interest is very important even the purpose is important many of the children when I talk teenagers and I say what do you want to become I want to get into medicine I want to be a doctor I said very good why do you want to be a doctor and the answers they give are really, really funny. Oh, I want to wear the stethoscope. Oh, I want to wear the lab coat. I want to have that,
Right.
jacket and my name here. I'm like, yeah, what is this? Is this you want to be a doctor for?
Mhm.
There has to be a purpose, right? No
Right.
one is coming and telling me, I really care about the people and I want to make it happen. I want to do something service to the people. I really want to make sure I do some change in the medical field, or I want to make sure that I give the best service. If you have that purpose, then even if you get stress or double work in your job, you will not feel worried or depressed because
Absolutely.
you have a passion to do that. And that's what stress will fight it out. But if you have being a doctor just to carry a stethoscope, let me tell you, the moment you get a very difficult job or task, you will feel stressed. because that was never your passion.
Passion. Absolutely.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
So understanding that your child and
Mhm.
the interest and the purpose is very, very important before you decide. Okay. So these are a couple of things which I could tell in a short while.
That's great. And Trisa, and I also want to understand like how what is a method, how like you told about like observing the child, which definitely we tells you to. Is there any other way we can also identify? You also spoke about that you tried this fingerprints kind of method for your
Yeah.
daughter. So what is like do you suggest any other way we can the parents can be helped and they can find it out, they can work with how do you guide them and help them in finding the right career
Yeah.
for the child?
Yeah, I think, see, there are a lot of tools available in the market also, and there are a lot of counselors also for there to help. I wouldn't say that please leverage on that. Either you research properly on the market what is happening, understand your child. If you know your child is good, but if you don't know, there are tools around. So I found this very important and helpful for my three daughters. I did that. That's called dermatoglyphs. Okay, that is study of your derma, okay, of your finger. So there are finger patterns, and through the finger patterns, it is connected how it is. This is imprint of the brain lobes. So the intelligence in the brain lobe is directly represented by reading this particular pattern. You can find out. And it's very interesting because there are eight multiple intelligence by Dr. Gardner. As he says that it is in the olden days, it was only IQ which we should measure
Right,
to know the
right.
intelligence of a child.
Mhm, mhm.
Gone are those days. Now that all the intelligences which can be capitalized and converted to create money and success is called intelligence. And there are various intelligences like visual intelligences, spatial intelligences. There's something called a naturalist, and I'm sure nobody would have heard that. Naturalist intelligence is like there are certain children who have very high naturalist intelligence, which means they are very, very intelligent from their senses. They can smell very well, they can taste things very well, they can see things very well, they can feel things, and those children are the one who are gifted to become great chefs of the world.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
if a person has great sense of taste, he can be one of the best wine taster. You don't know, must be having the best potential, and you're going to make them an engineer and doctor. So look
Absolutely.
at that. Absolutely, you're killing the talent or potential which God has gifted them with, So identifying that particular talent and potential of your child and
Mhm.
leveraging on that and giving them a career suitable so that they can use that potential is the way to know this. So in DMIT, what happens is you get a 55 to 60 pages report
Mhm.
where you can identify the learning style of your child, whether
Based
your
on
child
the
learns, yeah, whether your child is a visual, auditory, or a kinesthetic learner. So any child who's like 8 or 10 years above, I think they should do it so that they can understand. Your parents can understand whether the child should use visual, auditory, kinesthetic way to learn or achieve any academic success. Also, you understand the personality of a child, whether he's a dominant personality, whether he's a steady personality, whether he's a compliant personality, because based on his personality, you can guide him for the right career choices. Okay.
Mhm.
So if he's a process driven compliant person, and if you
Mhm.
put him into a job which is not, event management, he will
Right.
not enjoy, he will not be able to do it. He will be stuck with the processes there. But if you put him into a job like auditing, he will do wonders there. So
Right.
so the personality also drives what type of career will help you in your life. Okay. Third is you also come to know what is the emotional quotient of the child, what is the intelligent quotient of the child, what is
Mhm.
the adversity quotient of the child. So there are some children I found out they have very good IQ, but they have very less AQ. What is AQ? Adversity quotient is whenever there is a challenge or problem, they are unable to attack the problem. They go and shy in a cocoon. And
Mhm.
if God has built them like that, there's nothing wrong in that. Now, there are ways and techniques by which you can improve that to a certain level, but definitely don't put him in a career like a, fire brigade or something like that. They will never be able to
Right.
succeed there.
Right.
So you can't send them on a defense or army because they will run away from that situation.
Yes.
So you need to find the right balance and intelligence quotient of the child. And the most important I loved was the eight intelligence because I could see which intelligence is stronger in my children and I was able to guide my child. This is the career which you should go. So my eldest child, she got very good marks, like almost 95% in a 10th, and even a science subject she scored about 1995. And it was very keenly clear. Everybody said, go for engineering, go for science. But she was a dominant child. Thankfully, she came and told, Mama, I don't want to do science. I would like to do commerce. And it was a shock for me completely.
Mhm.
And then I was like, what are you saying? Commerce, you're such a brilliant child. You should take science. But then somebody told me about this DMIT test, and I did this dermatologist test. When I got this report, I was astonished because clearly her strengths were evidently coming out in the report. That she was born to be more of a management and organization person, and more of a person who would like to get into commerce related even things, not into science. She's not more analytical or or logical or technical.
The report gave you the clear.
Very get clarity. So I think we should definitely try that because that solves at least 60 to 70% of your problem. You can identify, and the remaining 30% you can fix by observing yourself, discussing with your child, and doing some research or taking help from the other counselors. So DMIT, they not only give you a report, but they also do a lot of counseling. There's a 90 minutes to 2 hours counseling where they detailedly explain and help you to understand your child better and give some career options, the top 3 or 4 career options which is suitable for your child.
And do you also do this, Teresa, with yours?
I am also a part of the DMIT counseling team. So, in fact, I was quite fascinated by it 4 years back when I did for my children. And recently, I have done my certification program in DMIT. So, I do conduct because for my teenage parenting, this is one of the crucial problems. Many parents started coming to me, approaching me, Teresa, how do I help? How do I identify my child's career? So, I've done the certification and I've recently helped around 10 parents. And I can see wonderful results because they were like quite astonished. Like one parent was like thinking, assuming that, my child has to go to creative field. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked them, why do you want to send your child to creative field? The answer she said is like, he draws quite well. He colors quite well. And I think he has a creativity. Now that's a very wrong understanding because a child will be able to draw well if he has his fine motor intelligence is high. He's able to do anything with his fingers. Okay. And if he has a visual aesthetic intelligence high, he will be able to understand the colors. So he's
Mm-hmm.
able to draw something and he's able to even color it. But creativity is different. If you're going sending a child in a graphics or creative field, their imagination has to be high. And this imagination was low, very low. So if they would have sent him to a career which is related to creative and graphics, just imagine the mess would have happened to the child.
My
And
God,
we
yeah.
understood that his logic was very high compared to creativity. So ideally, he's meant to get into engineering or something like that. And his language skills was good. So if he gets into education or lawyer, he will do fantastically well
The communication.
compared to the creative thing. So see, just because they did that test, they were able to identify and
Mhm.
avoid making a big mistake in their child's career choice. So I would suggest please do this analysis, which is available in the market. Do it from anywhere, but do it and get the best out of it. I will
Okay,
also be sharing the link in this particular video.
sure.
Maybe at the podcast end where you can contact my team if you need any help to do this test so that we'll be able to do. And this can be done online also, so you don't need to physically travel to any place.
That's interesting. That's really great. So, thank you so much, Lisa. I think we have covered almost all the points. And yeah, definitely we look forward to another session with you where we can, get into
Definitely.
more details and, because you touched upon so many things, especially, especially for me also it's an eye opener that academic performance is not, cannot be linked to your career. The right career
True.
path actually. So yeah, that's hard to digest honestly because we always felt like okay, if you're performing well, that's what we are good at. So yeah, there's entire demystify those myths. Actually, you did that. So thank you so much, Lisa. And before we conclude, the concluding question, mine would be: what are the three nuggets of wisdom that you would like to give it to the parents today?
Yeah. To summarize whatever I said, first I would say is in order to even do the career guide, the first important basic foundation is how is your connection with your child? Because if you have a strong bond and a connection with your child, only then your child will open up and share what he or she likes or dislikes. Otherwise, he will not be comfortable sharing with you. He will go and share with his friends and colleagues, and you will never know what exactly a child has in his heart, right? So connect and bond with your child, spend quality time, and understand their interest. Second point, which I would like to say is, as I said, know your child, and know their personality, traits, talents, certain things even the child doesn't know about themselves. And through this DMIT test, which you can do, you'll be able to know your child better. So it's a scientific way. So you know what they like and dislike, you know their scientific, biological made up and what is their talent and potential. With that, you will find a lot of career options open up. Third, which I would like to say is do market research, talk to various people, understand what are the options available. Don't wait for your child to become in 10th or 12th standard to, do all the exploration. If you see any career fair around, I used to take my children to the career fair, and it was very very eye opening for me also, because I could see, even a hairstylist is earning 2 lakhs per month, which we never knew it was happening. So there are various options you can make career and make money. It is not that you always have to be in a corporate job to earn a lot of money and make money. There are various options, and you can enjoy the job while you're doing it, while you're making money. So there are so many options. So do research, find different career options. Also, if there's a potential for you to make them talk to certain people of different careers, like if you have a defense person in your society, or if a pilot is there in society, take time, if you can take your child and make them talk to that uncle or auntie, so that they understand what's the day-to-day routine, or what are the challenges they have
Right.
in their particular career and job. This will be an eye-opening for them, and as well as you, to know and understand different career options before you take a decision. So as I said, the three things: first, connect with your child; second, understand, know your child through various tools available in the market; and third, explore the various career options so that you can guide your child and be a great parent for them. All right. So thank
Thank
you. This is what I would say.
That's great, and that's a great way to sum it up. Thank you so much, Lisa, for for coming today for a session. It was really interesting and very very informative. So we look forward to many more such sessions in the future. Thank you so
I'll
much.
be glad to. Thank you.
Thank you.